Okay. You ready? Now we're on live.
All right.
Just bring that right up to you. Close to that. Welcome to the show, everyone. I absolutely love talking about everybody else but me on this show, and I love that we do that. I love the information that people get out there. We're live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. What's really cool is that you can actually put your name, Networking Arizona, into the Facebook bar, and you can watch us in here doing this show live. It is super cool to do. My first guest has been on with me several times. I have with me Wes Peters. He's the CEO of Gold Wealth Management. You're also an author of many, many books. So I wanted to first talk a little bit about you before we got into some of the things that you wanted to talk about.
Right.
If that's okay. And
Yeah.
you've been doing this for 17 years, and you people are going to entrust themselves with you when they're doing something like this. How did you get into it?
Well, how I got into it, I was in the financial services industry originally. When I first got out of the Marine Corps, I went back to school and I got all my securities and insurance licenses. That was back in 94. Man, it was a long time ago. So I was back in 94, and I did financial planning. I looked at people's overall situation. We looked for ways to save them money on their insurance, found out how much they had put away for retirement currently, what age they wanted to retire, how much they wanted to live on per year. Okay, how's the math work out on that? How much do they need to accumulate to accomplish that? And would set up investments for them. So I did that for a number of years, and then back in 2009, I was approached about going to work with a precious metals firm. And so I made that move, and what I found out very quickly, like within hours, is I went from an industry that was very heavily regulated. With you had to be licensed, you had to do continuing education, you had to be a fiduciary and be responsible. And the precious metals industry, I hate to say it because I'm in the industry, but there's none of that. It's the Wild West. People with convictions for wire fraud, embezzlement, you name it, could open a gold company. So I worked for this company, and it was a great company. I mean, they weren't doing any of those things. They were above board and legit. But just hearing horror stories from clients that I would talk to about what happened to them with XYZ company. And, I've always been the entrepreneur type, and started Gold Wealth Management in 2010 and said, you know what, I'm going to build my company on marine values. I spent 8 years in the Marine Corps as a fighter jet as a mechanic on fighter jets, and I said, we're going to build this foundation, and all my people, I want them to follow this as well. Honor, courage, commitment, service to others. You can make a decent living without ripping people off. And that was my whole foundation for building Gold Wealth Management. And that's why I tell people, and I've said it many times and every time on your show, we're all about education. We're not high pressure. And what, unfortunately, most people make their decisions based on the fear of missing out. Rather than let's look at all the information, let's write down all our questions and concerns, let's address those and make an educated decision. There are people that do that, but unfortunately a lot of people do it on the fear of missing out. Just like we had this big run up in the market recently before the big correction on Friday, which we can touch on a little bit later. But instead of making that decision while things are calm, something's taking off and they feel, oh, the train's leaving the station, I need to catch it, I need to do it. And what comes to mind real quick is after the 2008 crash, we were trying to get people to get into metals and stuff, and Wes, the stock market's going to run, for another 6 months or whatever. Call me later. And when the market really took off, these people were calling frantically, wanting to get into the market right away. When if they would have done it before, they could have saved a lot of money.
Also, you like to work with people out there as co-partners in some way, because there are a lot of people also have financial planners that don't recommend and I'm doing this on purpose,
Right.
gold
Right.
in their portfolio. But there's a reason for that.
Well, there's a couple of reasons, and that's one thing that we do fight, the so-called professionals. And don't get me wrong, there's some really good ones out there that do actually manage their clients' money, but there's a lot that don't. They put them on autopilot, and when the market corrects 20-30%, and you call your advisor, they say, the market always does this. There's always pullbacks, just buy more. And so what we fight is when an advisor hears someone say, I want to buy gold and silver, they make them feel, stupid for wanting to do it. Like, why do you want to do that? It doesn't pay dividends. It's an old relic. No one does that in their right mind. And what that advisor's hearing when the client says, I want to buy some gold and silver, they hear one of two things. That client has more money they could be giving the advisor to invest, to make money to feed their family for that advisor. Or, they're thinking about taking some of the money I currently manage and moving it elsewhere. And what I would tell people is, as a saying, you don't go broke taking profits, and if your investment portfolio is looking nice right now, I would encourage people to do a portfolio review and consider taking some of those profits off the table and funneling them elsewhere into your safe haven investment, physical gold and silver. Especially now that we've had this pullback in the market on Friday, it's a great time. This is an opportunity. The fundamentals haven't changed with gold and silver. It's going to go higher, and we needed a correction. We don't want it to continue to just go up consistently. We have to have these pullbacks to build a new foundation. So there are three charts that we've talked about last time that, ask your financial advisor about these. The PE ratio, it's screaming that the stock market is overvalued significantly. The Buffett Indicator is at an all-time high significantly, and then the price or the margin debt. I've got in one pamphlet, I've got 3 reports on all of those that people can request. Those 3 indicators cannot be argued. Those are numbers, they're facts. And people need to make their financial advisor, who is probably already aware of them, just ask them, say, are you concerned about this? Do we need to reposition and possibly do something else? Because if you don't, I'm telling you, there's a big hit. There's a reason that Warren Buffett's sitting on $328 billion in cash. He's waiting for the big correction, and he's going to swoop in and buy everything while it's on sale. And right now we have this big correction in gold and silver. Great time to dollar cost average and add to your position.
And you are very easy with people. It's not like you're pushy in any way.
Zero.
You even like people to ask as many questions. You're all about education. And you do these seminars, which you have one coming up on Saturday, February 28th at 10 a.m. There's also lunch that he serves afterwards at Goodyear. And seats are limited, so what he wants you to do is he wants you to text him. So write the number down. Don't text it right now, but write this number down. It's 623-640-5911, and you just push 0 to reserve. Is how that works?
No, that's
just don't worry about the typo.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they can also call if you're not a texter, but
Yeah.
we just try and make it easy that I don't want to talk to this guy, but I'm just going to text him and show up and get some information and have a good lunch.
Well, it's important that you understand that maybe you should be diversifying your portfolio and why. And when you're talking with Wes, what he's all about is educating you so that you understand what you're doing. His phone number is 623-640-5911. You can check him out on his website. It is goldwealthmanagement.com. He does a free portfolio review for you, and I personally think that when you're talking about this, if you miss the boat, it's a lot that you miss. It's not just a little.
Right.
What's your final words for the segment?
Well, I would say it's, we're just into February. It's still early in the year right now. It's a great time to pull out your statements and everything and really start looking at where you are. And I understand we have this crazy thing called life going on, because people are like, oh, the kids have practice, and, we have this crazy thing called life going on. It's never, a good time until you prioritize. And this would be a great time to just look at everything and see where you're at compared to where you want to be. His
number again, it's 623-640-5911, goldwealthmanagement.com. Okay. Are you okay with the way I started that
Yeah,
off?
that's great.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So, I know that we did do this one, so we're here, okay?
Yeah, and it just, we don't get to it, it's no big, and we can just cut on it real quick what happened, if, you think,
Okay,
yeah.
it just depends.
What do we
So
have left
this
when
is
we go back,
at the-
like 10 minutes? Is what we have left?
Yeah, it's about 12 minutes.
Okay.
So yeah, no, we'll get to it. Because I didn't expect you to.
Hey, Carol, is it okay if you sit
Yeah,
down?
absolutely.
All right.
Just make sure your phone is on off or
Well, I left it in
silent.
the truck.
Mike Salazar, this is Wes Peters, and Mike is the owner of Past Fire Protection and Gold Wealth Management.
All right.
So anything that you want me to hit on, do, whatever I'm doing is okay?
No, it's good, yeah.
Okay.
You guys do the living trust and all that stuff?
No, I just sell physical gold and
Oh.
silver, bars, coins, help people, with savings, retirement accounts.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. So you do fire protection?
Yes.
Okay. One of my Marine buddies did that a long time ago for a while, and I lost track of, I don't even know where he's at now, Mark Kozlowski.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if you,
Never know, it's a small world.
yeah.
Yeah. I only been in Arizona for like 10 years now. Almost less, 8 years.
Okay.
I was in the Navy.
Here's your
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Why did you get here?
Yeah. I think it sounds good. Sounds great to me.
That's his song playing?
What's that? Can you
That's
hear
his
it?
song playing? Yeah.
Yeah.
He put it together.
All right.
So welcome back, everyone. We are talking with Wes Peters. He's the CEO of Gold Wealth Management. Love your ad that you just fantastic.
I got the band together. We went in the studio, recorded that, broke out the guitar.
You had a lot of fun doing that one.
My friend AI, let me clarify.
So let me just say this too. What you reiterate quite often is that you are a vet, and thank you for your service.
Yeah,
but
thank
that
you.
the way that you take care of your clients is with that in mind, right?
Right.
And I think that's what's awesome about you. Also, that you're all about just educating. You can start very little. You don't have to. You're not like starting with. If you can, you do more. But you could start with taking baby steps.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Before I came in this morning, I met with a gentleman here locally that had $1,000 he wanted to spend. I sold him some 1 ounce silver bars. We have no minimum whatsoever. So when I sit down with people, Carol, I really, and I know this could sound like just lip service or whatever, but when I'm sitting down with someone and we educate on all the products, we don't say, hey, you should buy this product, which a lot of companies do. And unfortunately, the way a lot of companies determine that is when you're ready to buy, they pull up their inventory, they take a look and see, what do we have too much of right now that my sales manager's paying me extra money to move and get rid of? If they took in a $400,000 liquidation of South African Krugerrands, they had to write a big check to somebody, they're exposed to the market. If the market goes down, they want to get that stuff out of there. So they're going to have a meeting in the morning and say, hey guys, we got these Krugerrands, we're going to discount them this much so we can get rid of them, we're going to pay you an extra bonus on them. That's what you're selling today. And that's what they do. And that may not be the best product for them because they're not telling that client, hey, by the way, when you go to sell these, you sell a certain amount of them, it's going to generate a 1099 to the IRS. So we explain all the different products, bullion, which is bars, currently minted coins, foreign coins like Krugerrands, Pandas, Maple Leafs, Roosters, Philharmonics. We explain all those bullion products, and then we also explain numismatic products as well, which are the pre-1933 U.S. minted coins that were money. We explain the difference. Bullion's 0.999. Numismatics are 90% gold and silver. The rest is copper. because they were in circulation. They had to have that copper in there to make them more durable. These generated 1099. These are totally private. And at the end, the client tells us what they want to buy. And they say, I think for my situation, what I'm trying to accomplish, I think this product would be best. Okay, if that's what you're interested in, here's how much those cost. And let them make that decision. So, and when I'm sitting down with people, and they want a recommendation, I look at it like if one of my family members or I were spending my own money, or, what would I do? And again, because the last thing I ever want, and that's why we try and address everything up front, I don't want a client to buy gold and silver and then after the fact say, hey, Wes, it would have been nice to know this before I bought. And we don't really have to worry about that, because we'll bring things up and someone will be like, wow, I didn't even think about that. Well, it's important, So
you
again,
lay it out on the table
Yeah.
completely.
Absolutely.
And then it's up to you. But you also have to remember that when something can generate a 1099, you need to know that.
Right.
Not have that come up afterwards.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people may not want that.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the number to call is 623-640-5911, goldwealthmanagement.com. Free portfolio reviews, and he is having this seminar at Pebble Creek Golf Club, okay? Why don't you tell him about it? It's your thing. Go ahead. Seminar, go ahead.
Yeah, again, we just do a PowerPoint presentation. It's an hour of information going into, number one, why people need to get some of their money outside the traditional banking system and the US dollar. If the why doesn't make sense, there's no sense in going into how to do it. But again, if you look at those three indicators, the PE ratio, Buffett Indicator, the margin, debt, you can't argue those, like I said. You look at these, the why should make sense, and then we go into, here's what you need to know, here are the right questions to ask. People don't know the right questions to ask, and I love sharing true life examples of what has happened over the years. And I'll give you one real quick. We talk about what the ask price is and the bid price. It's just like with a stock. Ask price is what you're paying to buy. Bid price is what you get when you're selling. When you're buying anything, even an RV or anything, if you said, okay, what is this going to cost me today? And don't lay all your cards on the table at once. Wait till you get your answer. If I bought this today, what's it cost me? They give you that price. Okay, what if I came in here today and I was selling that to you? What would you give me for it? And the difference between that bid and ask is your true cost of doing business. So that's what you need. So there was a client that I work with now, did business with an XYZ company years ago, and they talked to the broker, advisor, he was knowledgeable, giving them good information, and they said, well, obviously you don't do this for free. How much money do you make? And he said, without missing a beat, I make 4%. And they thought, okay, 4%, that's not bad. They made their purchase. They started doing more research, learning more, getting educated after the fact. And they realized, wow, we paid way more than 4%. And so they called that broker and they said, hey, before we bought, we asked you how much you were going to make, and you said 4%. We paid way more than 4%. And he said, you didn't ask me how much it was going to cost you. You asked me how much I made. I told you how much I made. And he knew what they were getting at. And they went to management.
That's crummy.
Yeah, it's criminal. And they went to management. Again, no regulation in the industry, no full disclosure, smoke and mirrors. And they got a manager, and the manager said, well, folks, he didn't lie to you. You asked him what he made. And they stood behind that broker.
I hate people that do that.
Oh,
I really do.
Do what's right. I'm a big believer, Carol, in what goes around comes around. And I've always led my life, again, marine values, of how would I want someone to be treating me? And again, that's one of the biggest reasons I started Gold Wealth Management back in 2010, is to be that shining example, so to speak, in an industry that unfortunately I'm not real proud of some of the things that happen in this industry. And I'm trying to save as many people as I can. And I even tell people, I have people that are in CPAs, tax attorneys, financial planners, whatever. Hey, if your client's dead set on investing in gold and silver rather than throwing them to the wolves, to these very highly credible conservative talk radio, refer them to us and we'll take great care of them. you know, and get them fully educated. So
his phone number again, it's 623-640-5911, goldwealthmanagement.com. And, he does these free, their portfolio reviews. I think that's important. And if you don't have a portfolio, it's okay. You could start. But if you've never bought gold, it's okay to start and learn and take your baby steps. But once you do it, I think people tend to start loving it.
Yeah, and
it's
again,
very interesting.
Again, when you do that, when you invest in physical gold and silver, I say this over and over, you're getting some of your money outside the traditional system and the U.S. dollar. Our dollar is going to be cooked here. You've got de-dollarization with all of these countries that used to settle all their transactions with the U.S. petrodollar. They're all walking away from that, and they're all settling those transactions in their own currency. So if those dollars aren't being used abroad and they come home, that's the definition of inflation. Too many dollars chasing the same goods and services. So, and Trump just announced Kevin Warsh as his guy to replace Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve. That's one of the big things that triggered the market downside on Friday is algorithms. This wasn't fundamentals, it was algorithms, it was computers. A lot of these trades are made by high-frequency computers, high-frequency trading, where they can push a button to buy something, and no sooner do they push that button to buy it, they push it again to sell it. And because that algorithm, they make chunks of money within that couple of seconds.
Wow.
And the algorithm said, Trump appointed this guy, he's hawkish for the dollar, which means he wants a strong dollar, which is what he's traditionally been. Well, Trump's not going to pick somebody that's another Jerome Powell. He's going to pick someone that's going to be lowering rates, which is good for gold.
Again, the other thing that I wanted to say, because this is important, I know how much of this we've gotten to, but you've said many times, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. And I want people to understand too, this is physical gold and silver. It's important you understand that, because if you go, a lot of people, they go up online, they go, I can go online and I can do it myself. A lot of people just buy and they're not even ever touching it, right? What do you think about that, real quick?
Well, that's an argument that people can get from their financial advisor. We've got you in gold and silver. You're in GLD and SLV, which is a paper contract. You will never be able to take possession of that metal. You are tied to the dollar still. If you want insurance, you want physical, tangible metal. So your advisor says you have it for speculating, trying to get in and get out and make money. You have no form of insurance whatsoever. For that, you need physical metal. If your advisor says you have it, it should be stored somewhere or in your possession.
What are your final words for everybody?
I would just encourage people, again, request the free information. No obligation, doesn't cost you anything.
And your seminar again?
Seminar, yep.
Go and tell them what it is.
We had what? I think we had 30.
February 28th?
Yeah, we had 32 people there. February 28th, 10 a.m. at the Pebble Creek Golf Club. We do need you to RSVP so we can have a proper head count for lunch, and we'd just love to see people there.
So his text number is 623-640-5911, which is his, oh no it's not. Yes it is.
Yeah,
it's
same
your phone
number. Call or text.
Call or text. Yeah. Again, it's 623-640-5911. Check him out on his website. It is goldwealthmanagement.com. If you don't hold it, you don't own it.
Boom, we're done.
Yeah.
Hold on tight.